One take, one shot. This is the Raw review where I do it with no edits whatsoever, immediately following the show, so you get my gut reaction. Can't be swayed by anyone or anything except money. If somebody wants to throw me some cash, I'll grade it however you want. But in the meantime, I have not sold out yet. Therefore, you will get my honest opinion. Was tonight a good Raw? Was it a bad Raw? I'll say this. Roman Reigns, he showed up. We had a segment in the ring. We had a segment backstage. This was a very good Roman episode, and he pulled the strings and he made storylines develop by just his mere presence. I did enjoy this Raw more than I didn't, but I will say, as the show started, it started off high and gradually did decline, but overall, decent episode. I'm gonna say that. So Roman Reigns. Let's talk Roman. He does come out. I wanted him to speak more. Roman Reigns, one of the best things about Roman was this trash talking, and he didn't really get to trash talk much. Yes, Bronson did come out, and he just kind of stared for a minute, and Roman was like, "You gonna say something? You gonna say something, dude?" And then Paul, tries to say, "Hey, this is how you do it. You don't have a wise man anymore. Let me show you how it's done." He introduces Bronson. I am a little surprised that we're repeating the Bronson Reed match. I thought the next challenger would be Braun Breaker, but nope, it is the Tribal Thief, Bronson Reed. I think that Bronson should have stolen some other people's shoes so he could still have the shoes around his neck. Doesn't necessarily have to be Roman's. But regardless, this is happening, and it's going to be an Australian street fight, which I'm assuming will have kangaroos, boomerangs, and probably none of that, but just be a regular no DQ match. And Roman tells the Usos later on, I don't want your help. You got other fish to fry. We'll talk about that in a second. But that means Roman Reigns is now entering a no DQ match and have already told his backup to not show up. Therefore, Braun Breaker is definitely going to cost the Tribal Chief a win, and that will mean the Tribal Thief will have a victory over Roman. That's what I'm gonna say. I'll probably do a prediction video on Wednesday, but yeah, there's my prediction for that match. But regardless, they get into a brawl. Roman says that they basically calls him the B word, and Bronson Reed comes back down. They fight. Roman and a pull apart brawl. Roman's jumping over security to get at Bronson Reed. He punches him in the face and he goes down, and Roman stands tall. And later on, Roman's walking backstage, comes across the Usos, and they're like, man, because Bronson Reed did bring up the uncle and the dad of Roman, and they're like, how are they going to bring up our uncle like that? We got you. We're going to be there. And then Roman says, no one, well, first off, actually, Jimmy says, we got your back, but Jay's like, I got your back. Not we, I. And then Roman's like, no one's got my back. I'll do this alone. And Jay, I told you, you need to be focused on things like the World Championship belt. You need to focus on you. You need to focus on what is going to get you back on top of the card. And before we talk more about that, I'm going to talk about how you can win this championship right here. All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you can win said belt right here. Trying to give it away at 20,000 subscribers. Not trying, I will. Do or do not. There is no try. I will give. I will give away this belt at 20,000 subscribers on my quest to quit my day job. Okay, so anyways, Roman then is just like, Jay, go and be you. He's like, who's at the top of the 9 o'clock hour? And Jay's like, CM Punk. And Roman's like, interesting. And Jay's like, all right, I'm going to go. He goes. And then he stops Jimmy. He's like, Jimmy, I see everything. I hear everything. No. Wait. At some point, no. Okay, yeah. So he's like, I know everything. I see everything. What are you going to do about that? Basically he's saying that he sees that Jimmy being a little apprehensive about the whole Roman coaching Jey on what to do. And so it's like, ooh, looks like the Bloodline story is restarting. Where I think we're at chapter 4, inning 4. So that happens. We will then later on in the night, CM Punk will come out, and LA Knight, yeah, he comes out, he interrupts, and there's this funny line where LA Knight is saying, you know, I beat Seth, I have never ever got pinned by Seth, and Punk goes, yeah, well, you never ever have won the championship belt either, and that actually threw LA Knight for a loop. You could tell he smiled. He was like, "Oh, you got me. You got me." It took him. It wasn't like forever, but you could tell someone like LA Knight is so quick. When he waits 30 seconds for a comeback, you rattled him. And so he was a little rattled, but then he's just talking more how he's going to be the champion. And Punk is like, no, I'm going to be the champion. And then LA Knight, or Jey Uso, then he comes out. And he's basically saying, I'm going to be the champion. You all have to wait in line. And you know, they're kind of, it's getting, like, the tension is building and building. This wasn't like, I respect you. I respect you. No, I respect you. These guys are like, yeah, I don't really like you, and I'm going to be champion. And it's just waiting for that one thing to kind of, like, that one straw to break the camel's back and for everybody to start fighting. While Jimmy comes out, Jimmy will come out, and at a certain point, it's fisticuffs time. Jey will kick LA Knight, and then CM Punk is like, I'm assuming you came out to interrupt him, not me. Well, Jay's just like, yeah, what do you do about it if I did interrupt you? And so they're about to get at it. Jimmy stops Jey from attacking Punk, but that allows Punk then to push Jey down and attack Jey, which will then, that segment will be pretty much over at that point. But later, it's going to be revealed that we're going to have the Usos versus CM Punk and LA Knight. But there's another backstage segment, and surprise, surprise, Roman is still here. And Roman is like, you know, Jay's just like, I got to do this. And Roman will, when Jey leaves, Roman will say, Jimmy will actually yell at Roman. He stands up and he says, Jey don't need you. Jey don't need you. Which is surprising because Roman's the tribal chief. He's like, he's not like you. I'm not like you. Just basically saying, leave us alone. But then Roman says, hey man, the moment he won the world heavyweight title, he became more like me than you. Ooh. So yeah, you know, a lot of interesting developments. They will have a tag match, but it's like, I'm not. That's the last we see of Roman, and he's going to be fighting Bronson Reed now in Australia. But like the CM Punk, the Jey Uso, the Usos, and the LA Knight match, it was all right. But I don't know. By then it's like it was like 10. I think it ended at like 10:35, and I was kind of spent. By the time this happened, I was spent. We had like 5 or 6 really long matches on Raw, and some of them were good. We're going to talk about it in a second, because Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch, what a banger. But like, I think there was just too many long matches tonight, and by the time I got to this one, I was just kind of like, oh man, I was at like 17 yawns. 17 yawns in America. There was like, I think like 13 commercials. It was just like, we were done. Actually, no, it was 15 commercials. We were just waiting to see what happened. And so it wasn't like a bad match, but at the same time, it wasn't like very captivating. You were just kind of waiting for who was going to screw who at the end. And what happened was, Jey Uso actually took the pin. Should have probably been Jimmy based on the storyline, but hey, you know what? Whatever. And CM Punk got to go to sleep on Jey, but LA Knight tags himself in, looks him in the eye as he pins him, and LA Knight gets the visual moral victory in that he pinned the Usos, and CM Punk wasn't happy about that. Hopefully we don't get a triple threat that's just a triple threat. Hopefully we get a triple threat that's for a number 1 contenders match. I do like that the faces are actually feuding with each other. It's nice that it's not just like a Tiffany Stratton championship match where everybody always respects each other. So that is kind of cool there. And LA Knight gets he gets the visual win on a Raw, which was cool. But again, we have the main event segment. It has nothing to do with the PLE. This is a go-home show for a PLE, and it literally has nothing to do with the PLE. I mean, Roman does, but the Roman segment is to set up a match. He has one segment to set up a match. The main event of the go-home segment of Raw has nothing to do with the PLE itself, and that's just still so odd to me. I'm just an old-school fan. I just yell at clouds all day long. Hey, cloud! And it's like, I'm just not going to get used to it. I'm more, I don't know. I've seen the top of the mountain of what WWE could do during the Ruthless Aggression era and during the Raw, the Attitude era, and it's like, I know things move on, but like the storytelling was really, really good back then. I don't understand why we avoided that kind of storytelling, and it's just like the matches were just too long. They should have shaved off like 4 or 5 minutes off almost every match and just had more backstage segments, because the backstage segments were actually really good this week, and I enjoyed them. Let's back it up. We're gonna after the Roman Bronson Reed like hubbubaloo in the beginning, Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch, the best, the greatest in the world, proved it again tonight. And for the record, that's not just me saying that she's the greatest in the world, the best in the world. That's Sports Illustrated, but she proved it tonight in that she carried Maxine through an awesome match. This match was so good. Now, I did already complain a lot about the long matches tonight, but this match had every right to be as long as it did. So did the Kyrie and Io match, but this match was so good. You kind of knew that Maxine Dupree was going to lose, right? You knew it, but it's like, okay, cool, let's just see what happens. And Maxine Dupree, just like, she's kind of billed as like one of the worst people on the roster, but you couldn't tell tonight. It was a solid matchup, and there were points where you literally bought that Becky was going to lose. I thought, for real, my mouth dropped one time. The pinfall was so close that I thought that Maxine got it. Do yourself a favor and watch this match. This match was, it was really, really good. The only thing I would say that I didn't like about it was you kept expecting AJ Lee to come in, right? You just kept expecting her to like interfere. I get it. That's like expectations that I placed on the match, because like they never even mentioned AJ at all, and she's been gone for 2 weeks. However, I just go based off history and kind of like Wrestling 101. You just expected AJ to come, interfere, cost Becky the match. That didn't happen. So that was one of my only gripes. Like, maybe they should have made it more clear or something that she wasn't coming, but that's not even that bad. That's not even that bad. That's just a little, you could have made it a little bit better by just killing the expectations that AJ Lee was actually going to come. But whatever, great match still. And at one point, Becky gets really in the face of Jessica Carr, the referee, and she's in her face. She's basically bullying her without touching her, and then she goes outside to get Maxine Dupree, and 7, 8, 9, 10. The last three on the 10 count went quick, and Maxine won by a count out. I would have much rather a pin happen, but like this was maybe a little reminiscent, not fully, but a little reminiscent of when Chad Gable beat Gunther. That was great, and this was a great moment. I'm glad Maxine Dupree got a win. It protects Becky Lynch, so like good stuff all around. We can run it back, and maybe Maxine Dupree's not that good. I don't know. Because when she's with Becky, she's great. And that could be Becky carrying her, a veteran carrying someone through a match, but whatever it was, it worked. They have great chemistry. Loved this. This will eventually cause Becky to have a backstage crash. Later, she's just like going, oh, I can't believe this. And I like that, because she's like, if I'm going to be treated like this, I'm not going to go to Australia. I'm just not going to do it. And so now we know that Becky's not going to be in Australia. Kind of like how I said earlier that you wish that they had told us that AJ wasn't going to be here. Now they've told us that Becky is not going to be in Australia. We can cut that out of expectations whatsoever. Another side note, though, I will say during the Punk promo, Punk actually said why he was not on Raw for the last 2 weeks, which I really did appreciate. He said, hey, I was celebrating with my wife, but basically I told Cody I wouldn't interfere in his match or the build-up to the match, so that's why I haven't been here. And I like that. One simple sentence makes everything make everything make sense, and that's all I really want. Even when I don't like the winners or the losers, I like when things make sense, and then I can be like, okay, maybe I don't like the storyline, but it makes sense, so you get a pass. All right, so after we have the Maxine Dupree Becky match, which was great, we have Roxanne Perez and Lyra. Lyra and Hugger Bailey are backstage. They go out, they're high-fiving people. And throughout the match, it's a decent match. I felt this one probably went a little too long, but Lyra will lose. She will lose to Roxanne Perez. And at one point, Raquel does her kick to Bailey, and that will activate Ding Dong Hello Bailey, because, two sides, three faces of Bailey. And they will say, we're going to go kick their butt. So later, and I like this too, later, the Bailey and Lyra are seen fighting Roxanne and Raquel. And it's cool because a backstage fight means more than just another beatdown in the ring. So that's happening. Adam Pearce is like freaking out. If he had hair, he'd be pulling it out throughout the night. We have, they announced that, AJ Styles gets, they start talking smack. The Judgment Day talks smack to AJ Styles. That sets up AJ Dragon Lee Penta versus the Judgment Day of JD, Dominic and Finn Balor. That's later in the night. We have another women's match, Io versus not Io. Yeah, Io versus Kairi Sane. And this was really good. And I loved how they set it up because Asuka was yelling at Adam Pearce, you better make this happen. You better make this happen. And then when Adam kind of does make it happen, Kairi's like, no, I don't want to do it. Slap. Asuka slaps Kairi, and Kairi's like, okay, I'll do it. And throughout this, so then we have the match, and at first it's like they don't want to fight each other because Kairi is trying to bring Io back, and just so they can be one happy family, and Asuka's like, you better do it. And Io's like, doesn't want to hurt Kairi, but she's forced to, and they have a banger of a match. But there are moments where Kairi's just like so sad that she has to go on the offense, and I'll tell you what, there's this one move. Kairi did an Alabama Slam to Io during a commercial break on the corner of the ring apron. God, it looked wicked. I don't do that again, please. At least do it on a PLE, not a commercial break. They did replay it, thankfully, but it was bad. And no one was hurt though, but it just looked wicked. Holy cow. I could not get over that. Eventually, Asuka's going to cost Io the match, and Kairi will get the pin. So Kairi gets a pin. Kairi is like low, like, she's a really good supporting character in this. Asuka is definitely the star and just making everything so good, but Kairi's doing a great job as well. And they did say that Rhea Ripley was on an Australian tour. So again, what I said earlier about the AJ thing, it made sense why Rhea didn't come to the rescue, and then it tempered our expectations, and it made everything more enjoyable because we're not like, where's her partner Rhea? Rhea's not coming out. Where's she at? You know what I mean? So it allows cohesive storytelling and you to enjoy the moment and believe the moment, that they didn't just forget something. And at that point I noticed, I was like, hey, you know what? We're about an hour and a half into the show and only women matches. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying that as a thing. Let's see. What else we got here? Roxanne won. AJ Styles promo Penta. They asked Penta to join. Okay. LA Knight did say that there was another good line where he's like, you're a good husband to CM Punk, but then he was also, but you're a bad champion. And that's when CM Punk was like, well, you've never been a champion. There was a really good Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins promo. It was a video promo. Is my audio going? Oh, thank God. We're at 21 minutes right now, but thank God the audio was going. So we have a Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, it's like part 2 of their documentary. They did this for Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Now they're doing it for Cody and Seth. But, it's really good. I would prefer that we get this kind of promo over them just rehashing that their friends are not in the ring every week. So it just showed. But it did have Roman in it again. And it kind of like, we're feuding feuding because you teamed up with Roman. So again, here's Roman. Just his presence is so omnipresent in the WWE that he doesn't even have to be part of the main event feud for it to be revolving around him. There was a good line that did explain why Cody teamed up with Roman. And because Seth was like, how dare you team up with Roman? I lost everything to win that, to help you win that championship. How dare you? And then Cody's like, of all people who should understand that everybody deserves a second chance, it's you. Basically alluding to, like, that at one point they were at odds and now they're friends, and he's like, even Roman deserves it. And that's the kind of Boy Scout Cody Rhodes that I actually appreciate. But finally he said that. That's all he's had to ever say. Hey, you've done bad things, and so has Roman. I'm forgiving you. I'm willing to forgive him. Boom. Or I'm willing to extend an olive branch. That's all wrestling needs, is little one or two sentences, and oh, okay, cool. But when you don't say that stuff, or it takes you a year to say that stuff, it's like, come on. I'm glad he said it, though, finally. It made sense. And I'm like, okay, there. Finally, he explained why he teamed up with Roman in October of 2024. It just took us almost a year to get the explanation. But it made sense. And I said earlier, as long as it makes sense, I appreciate it. So he's like, everyone deserves a second chance. We then have, then Seth will go to Paul Heyman and be like, Paul, I gotta win. What's gonna happen if I don't win? And Paul's like, you'll win. You gotta win. You have to win. You're gonna win. And he's like, no, Seth, no, Paul. What if I don't win? And then Paul gets serious. You want to know the truth? Well, then the Brawns aren't gonna really see your vision. He's like, what about you, Paul? What do you? And then he's going to be like, I'm going to have to then question why I chose you over Roman. So, like, Seth and Paul, it's not like before where Roman made, like, yes, Paul Heyman loved Roman Reigns as his tribal chief, but he definitely was scared of Roman. He's not scared of Seth Rollins, and I don't know if that is by design or not. Does that make Seth look weak, that Paul's not afraid of him, or is it that Seth sold Paul on this idea that, hey, we're going to be equals in this, and as an equal, Seth or Paul can speak his mind. So I think Seth is going to win. I really do, which will be crazy because the World Championship never beats the Undisputed Champion. Our final segment of the night, I believe, let me double check. Yes, the final segment of the night is the triple threat match. This is before the Usos and AJ versus AJ. No. The Usos versus CM Punk and LA Knight. Yeah, that's your final segment of the night. The match before is AJ Lee, Penta, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, Penta versus JD, Dominic, and Finn Balor. This match I feel went too long, but the crowd was really into it. But I was kind of spent. Like I said, I was kind of spent. I felt like the main event match could have got more, if not more time even, just would have got more if this match had gone quicker. End result, at one point, AJ's going to go, Dominic's going to go for the 619 on AJ, but Rusev just comes storming out, and AJ, or Dominic runs. He runs, and he's running. Penta does a super kick and hits Rusev instead of Dom, which allows Dom to run through the crowd. So it's probably going to be a three-way between those guys, but it's cool that Rusev is still in the mix. I'm liking Rusev now. The Dominic effect has made me like Rusev, and what will eventually happen is AJ will pin Finn, JD McDonough. That will then allow AJ to get on the announcer table and say, me and John Cena, we don't need a story. It will write itself. And side note, I think that's lame. There was an AJ John Cena promo earlier in the night too, and that was amazing. I think it's just lame that they are writing stories now that literally call out the booking that their writing is bad. John Cena they wrote John Cena to go on Twitter to say, my booking sucks. The people want AJ. Give me AJ. And AJ said, yeah, let's do this. And then Triple H said, okay, let's do it. They literally wrote a story where they don't know how to book. And that's why there's no build to this story. And then AJ says, we don't need a build. It'll write itself. Whatever. I'm going to enjoy it. That's going to be my favorite match of Perth, Australia. And that's it. That's your one take, one shot. How I told you, how many yawns, how many commercials? It was 17 yawns. Ooh, that's a lot. But I did wake up super early today, to be fair, and 13 commercials at least in the United States. I really enjoyed the first hour. The first hour was really, really good. And then it just kind of went downhill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably give it a high 6, a low 7. But I'll do 6. High 6, low 7, that's where I would probably fall in line with. But if you're a Roman fan, definitely catch this. Or a Jey Uso fan, definitely catch this. It was really, really good. And the Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch match, Io Sky and Kairi Sane match. Both really stellar stuff right there. Otherwise, you could probably just catch highlights. If you're a big LA Knight fan, or CM Punk fan, I could see you watching the promos as well. All right, boys. All right, girls. 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Next Friday, next Saturday, and next Monday. I am going to stream at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So grab some coffee and let's do this. Hot takes tomorrow. Go do a hot take. And, well, there's always going to be stuff because I do this daily. Boys, girls, see ya. Bye.